Joining us now, Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott. Governor, welcome back to Fox News Sunday. I want to start here. You know we've got the lead negotiator for the GOP in the Senate coming up, Senator James Lankford. The White House says it needs more money. He says they're pressing for policy changes. What's the number one thing you would tell Senator Lankford you need to get the border under control?
We need to stop the magnet that is enticing people to cross our border illegally, coming from more than 150 countries across the entire globe. And the way that you do that is to deny asylum to anybody crossing between a port of entry. If you have a valid asylum claim, you can go to one of those ports of entries, of which we have 29 just in the state of Texas alone. You must make them seek asylum from either the country they are fleeing or from Mexico or some other safe country they go into. That would dramatically cut down on the number of people that you see coming across the border every single day. The second thing that must be done is they must end the catch and release policies that the Biden administration has put into place. Candidly, the law already prohibits the mass allowance of people getting out and wandering the country for years before they ever have to go to court. The Biden administration simply is not enforcing that. They must hold the Biden administration responsible and deny them the ability to have catch and release.
Governor, are you in talks with the Biden administration, with the White House at all?
So, Shannon, know this, and that is I provided 8 letters to the Biden administration, which includes the president and Mayorkas, and I personally handed a letter to President Biden and to Secretary Mayorkas when they showed up in El Paso, Texas, outlining 5 things that they could do that would eliminate the crisis at the border. Shannon, in response to all 8 of those letters, I've heard absolutely nothing from the Biden administration.
Okay, you have heard from New York City, where the mayor there has announced a lawsuit. He says the tens of thousands of people that have been bussed in by you to his city, it's overwhelmed. And so they've announced this lawsuit this week that is against the bus companies that brought the people there. They're citing this New York law that says any person who knowingly brings or causes to be brought a needy person from out of the state into the state for the purpose of making him a public charge is going to be guilty of a misdemeanor. They talk about fines, and it goes on to say they have to support them at their own expense. So they're suing these 17 bus companies for more than $700 million. You're not a party to this, but do you worry that this is an attempt to shut down companies that would do business with the state of Texas and scare away other companies from doing that? And will you get involved at all with the defense legally of these companies?
Well, for one, there's no worry whatsoever for several reasons. One is it's a joke. It's really a political statement by the mayor of New York. You know, you talked about what the purpose was of that statute. On the face of the statute alone, that's not the purpose why the buses are moving people to New York City. Second, what the mayor did, the mayor sued the wrong party. If the mayor really is trying to cut down on the number of illegal immigrants coming into New York, he needs to be suing Joe Biden, not these bus companies, because it's Joe Biden and Joe Biden's policies that's causing the massive multi-million influx into the United States that leads to many of them wanting to go to New York. The third thing I will tell you, and that is the lawsuit is completely legally baseless, and the mayor's going to lose very badly for this very specific reason, and that is everybody who is bused to or planed to New York is already authorized by the Biden administration to be within the United States legally. And because of that, that means that they have the legal right to travel wherever they want in the United States, and the lawsuit by the mayor violates the United States Constitutions in several respects, and the mayor is going to lose and lose badly, and I hope he is forced to pay the legal fees for the cost of anybody having to defend against that lawsuit.
So that's just one of the many lawsuits we'll be tracking in conjunction with what's happening at the border. The DOJ is also suing the state of Texas over new law that you've passed there that would allow police officers and law enforcement to arrest people who are in the state of Texas after crossing in illegally from Mexico, would even give some state officials the ability to remove or to deport them. But what the DOJ is reporting to, they're pointing to what the Supreme Court did, a case I covered back in 2012, when Arizona had a similar state law. They shut it down. They said essentially that the purview of immigration and handling the border is left to the federal government, and states can't get involved here. What's your argument for overturning that precedent with this law?
Well, I have three arguments to make sure that we are going to win that case. But first, I got to point out that this is just one of many lawsuits that Joe Biden is filing against the state of Texas. They filed to eliminate the buoys that we put in the water that would deny illegal entry into the state of Texas. We are in the United States Supreme Court right now, where Joe Biden is begging the United States Supreme Court to allow the Border Patrol to cut the more than 100 miles of razor wire that we put up that denies illegal entry into the state of Texas. And now they're suing to stop this new law that I signed. This law was crafted in a way to ensure that it was going to be constitutional. First, it's drafted in a way that does not conflict with federal law. The Arizona law did conflict with federal law. The state of Texas law does not conflict with federal law, and hence that's one reason why we will avoid the preemption allegation made by the federal government.
Well,
the second one is preemption does not apply because the federal government is refusing to enforce the laws passed by Congress. Because they are not enforcing the laws passed by Congress, the law that we pass simply enforces the laws passed by Congress. Shannon, the third reason why the Texas case is different than the Arizona case is we are relying upon preemption ourselves under Article 4, Section 4 and Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution that authorizes Texas to do this.
Okay, you talk about that Texas is not taking over what the feds would be doing, but they essentially you are. If you're going to arrest people in Texas for being here illegally, that's their purview when it comes to deciding who to deport and how to handle immigration in the border. They say there is a direct crossover with what Texas is doing.
Well, Shannon, there's not. Listen, you and I are both lawyers, and you know what I'm about to talk about. Hopefully, we will not lose the audience here, but they rely upon what's called field preemption. And what that means is that the laws passed by Congress preempt the field or the totality of the ability for states to do something different. However, that field preemption that the federal government is relying upon presumes that the federal government will be enforcing the law passed by Congress. In this case, the federal government is not enforcing the laws passed by Congress. In fact, they're acting contrary to the laws passed by Congress. That creates the opening for Texas to be able to enact a law that simply enforces the very same laws passed by the United States Congress.
All right. Well, Governor, I'll track that. We'll see if it comes and winds up here at the Supreme Court as that Arizona law did. We're tracking the razor wire case, too. Governor, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Shannon.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.